I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. I was not born with a green thumb. I'm not sure how that's possible in my family line, but here we are. I have none, not one, 0 living plants in my home. But listen, I've kept my children alive, Rolos fed, and I can bake you a delicious loaf of bread, so trade-offs, you know? I'm definitely not a highfalutin horticulturalist with the pretty roses running up her flower trellis, but I have learned a thing or two about curating well-placed habits on the trellis of my life, ways I'm nailing it and failing it, or we'll say ways I'm still growing, so pardon my progress. Because like we've been chatting about in our series, Habits That Work, our everyday ordinary life is made up of everyday ordinary habits. Our habits not only shape our lives, they also reveal we're meant to be living differently, a life of distinction. We're not meant to blend in, fitting into culture without our awareness. And how do we live differently? Well, let's talk about curating just that with a rule of life. A rule of life comes from the Greek word regula, meaning a trellis. And just like a trellis offers support and structure in the botanical world, so does a rule of life offer support and structure for our lives too. Personally, I think the trellis was developed to help those of us who are flower impaired. It's basically doing the heavy lifting for you, and a rule of life does the heavy lifting in our lives as well too. So here's Paul's words from Romans 12, 1 and 2, as read in the Message paraphrase. So here's what I want you to do, God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for Him. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. Fix your attention on God, he says. You'll be changed from the inside out. So how do we fix our attention on God? Well, we do it with well-placed daily and weekly habits. By now you've heard me mention the common rule, Habits of Purpose in an Age of Distraction by Justin Earley. Quite literally, he wrote the book on how to craft a rule of life, or rhythm of life if you're still feeling a little squeamish about the word rule. I get it. Earley's book, The Common Rule, is comprised of 8 habits, 4 daily and 4 weekly, designed to help order our life, to build our trellis, so to speak. Daily habits like kneeling prayer at morning, midday, and bedtime, a shared meal, 1 hour with your phone off, and scripture before phone. Weekly habits like conversation with a friend, curated media consumption, fasting from something for 24 hours, and Sabbath keeping. Some of those sound hard and definitely not fun. Yep, and some of those sound darn near impossible for our day and age. Plus, they kind of sound restrictive, limiting. But here's the thing, a rule of life is limiting, on purpose. Limitations promote freedom. Structure, boundaries, they promote freedom. It might sound backward, but think about it. One of the most loving things we can do is provide boundaries and limits. We've all seen a child without limitations, and well, it's never beneficial. Which is actually what Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 6:12. Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. A rule of life not only provides true freedom, but also that which benefits us most. Paul says it again in 1 Corinthians 10:23. Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. I began to curate my rule of life about 6 years ago when I started a new practice. It wasn't really new per se, but it became wonderfully tweaked and consistent. I was determined to fix my attention on God first thing when I woke up. Attention is one of our most valuable commodities because what we pay attention to defines our life. Now where have we heard that? Oh yeah, fix your attention on God, you'll be changed from the inside out. One of the common rules for daily habits is scripture before phone, and this became my keystone habit. A keystone habit, Justin Earley describes, is the superhero superpower habit, the first domino to fall, changing 10 other habits as a result. And scripture before phone is just like it sounds. I read my Bible before one email is read, before I check the weather app, before reading one headline, because this just in, it's going to be bad news. I grab my coffee, Bible, journal, and I pray the words of Luke 24:45. Then he opened their minds so they could understand the scriptures. Every single morning. Now here's the whole story though. I don't have small children anymore. My trellis didn't look like this when I was getting terrible sleep with little ones starting the day at 4 a.m. Even now, I'm not 10 for 10 on this. Oh, it's pretty rare that I miss reading the scriptures, but I go in and out of patches when I look at my phone before my Bible. Hi, I'm Stacy, and it's been 4 days since my last Keystone habit relapse. I'm not mocking relapses. Addiction is a beast, and I'd argue 99% of us are addicted to our screens at this point. It's usually on a day that I wake up groggy or my bed feels extra cozy, and I think, oh, I'll just check the weather for today. And the dominoes begin to fall. Next it's, oh wait, did I place that pickup order for Sam's Club? Stink, I forgot to text the piano teacher. Wait, where was that SAT email again? Ooh, new lab results. Let me check my chart. By the time I grab my coffee, Bible, and journal, my morning reads more like a staff meeting than a quiet conversation between my Creator and me. But here's the trend I've found to be true in my rule of life. On days I reached for my phone first, my day drastically aligned itself more toward anxiety, comparison, and envy. Despair, anger, or judgment flooded my early morning thoughts. The days I began with the word before grabbing my phone, my heart was in a dramatically different place. Coincidence? Paul submits that it is not. Our first moments of waking are some of the most powerful moments of formation. My brain became cluttered with what I saw, read, or noticed undone on my phone. When scripture before phone is my keystone habit, I am noticeably more present to the presence of God, my own inner heart shifts, to my family and my world. I'm noticeably more at rest, more productive, more decisive. My conversation is steered more toward encouragement. It's not so much that my phone, apps, emails, and social media were wasting my time. It was that they were framing my time. And when I began my day by reaching for my phone first, my day framed differently. Unknowingly, my phone wrote the script for my day, rather than scripture being the bedrock narrative. Now, I've read the common rule on repeat, and I've been working through these habits for the last 6 years. I have yet to nail them. I cycle in and out of good rhythms with them. So please know this is not like a master-student conversation today. This is simply a conversation from friend to friend. Oh, that's actually one of the habits. Boom! See? We're already ahead of the game. But we'll never be able to chat through all 8 habits of the common rule in just 8 or 9 minutes each week. We've got to start a Glordinary book club. This would be so fun to read together. But until we get that Glordinary book club going, could we chat every day until next week? I'll drop in your ears daily with a little Glordinary mini episode to highlight a new habit from the common rule each day. I hope you'll join me because we can do this. We can form new keystone habits in our rhythm of life. Until tomorrow, Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.